Hi everyone. We'll be starting soon our live with Positive and Spirit Center for another Saturday, talking according in the topics of Spiritism. My name is Tarso dos Santos and I'm a worker here at Positive and Spirit Center. We're going online with the English talking on Spiritism. We will be starting at 6:15 as we do every Saturday. Hopefully some people can join us. If you're not able to join us, you may watch this in our Facebook page where you'll be uploaded. I think I can see Erica there. Thanks, Erica. Thanks for joining us. So just a reminder, our English talks is still only online, and it will be online, I believe, for the end of this year, until we're able to get to normal activities for the next year as we starting going back to our activities. So the version in Portuguese, the works in Portuguese are happening there at the center, the back at the center. There's another person coming in. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you all can hear me okay. You can see numbers popping up here and going, but that's okay. So we're going to be starting in 1 minute. Again, the talk will be available and recorded in our Positive page for later, anyone who would like to watch. So 6:15 we'll be starting, and as usual we will be doing a little prayer so we can connect to our mentor guides. So we start. You can choose to keep your eyes open or closed, and feel free. So we'll take opportunity to be here with our guardian angels and the mentors, individual mentors, that we can create this connection and we can be present remotely, connected with our Spirit Center as well. Our workers at Spirit Center, our mentors, are the fraternities that work towards the Positive Spirit Center, and our mentor from Spirit Center. We really thank our mentors. Always protect us and connect us through every talk we have. We elevate our thoughts to our mentors of Australia and all the mentors of all the countries, and Mother Mary, and as well Master Jesus, that enlighten us always in every work that we do. Thank you. So we live. So the topic for today, it is Jesus, the Doctor of Souls. So basically we're going to talk about Jesus, and from a perspective of the miracles, and about the recording that we have that's being detailed, and we're going to look at the intriguing facts that have been recorded into the Bible, recorded into the Gospel according to Spiritism, that we have all those testimonials. And there's always questions about, was that real? Was that possible? Were they symbologies that were placed in there? So we're going to look at some of them. How would that be possible to make those miracles? But from a perspective that Jesus being the physician, so you can find this term online, being Jesus the physician of the souls, of Jesus being the doctor of the souls. So as we probably most of us have heard about the miracles that Jesus have executed, have done in the past by healing people from a physical perspective, but from a more spiritual perspective as well, for those that are suffering back then. So therefore, he was became so famous on this time, so impressed so many people. So we discussed a bit about the view of such miracles. What's the view of Spiritism on a miracle perspective? But also, more importantly, extract something for us and to discover behind all these miracles, what is behind, and our capability to maybe find in ourselves, maybe capability to heal ourselves, right? And maybe to affect others in a positive way. So what can we take for ourselves from that perspective? So the reason we're looking at Jesus, logically, because he is an example for humanity. He has shown us what is the good man, not just a good man, the perfect man would look like. He's an example, he's a guide, and he nobody could even say anything against Jesus because he didn't write anything, but everything has been written about him. It just shows how amazing and how good he was. And he brought amazing phenomena. He caused a lot of phenomena. So we're going to analyze it from that perspective. We could call them as psychic effects that he brought in context in the passage that have been written in the passage of the Bible. So the extreme cases. So, and he was able to affect people in a way that nobody could explain. You could just get close to him, and suddenly you become you just heal ourselves even from a spiritual perspective. So, in reality, only similar phenomena have happened all our time, among all cultures, and we've been hearing for a long time. We had marvelous people, amazing people that came through a part of Jesus, that came through and showed so much beautiful and love, so much healing capability, and amazing energy they could transmit and show amazing behavior and towards those that are suffering. So, but nobody so Jesus was a next step, was something that we can't even understand who really Jesus really was from that perspective, because being so amazing and the capability, that the things that he has been able to do it, right? So from that perspective, we know just a little bit about him. All we know is that things have been written about him. Spiritism brought a lot of new testimonials from spirits coming back and writing through mediums that brings all the touch around who is really Jesus, right? So who is he? He's a medium? He's just a man came and had made miracles? What is the view, right, from spiritism? So, but we have quite a bit of mediumship writings, psycho writings that talk about Jesus and who really he is. So maybe we can we cover that. So from a spiritual point of view, we see all these psychic happenings and healing as mediunic manifestations. Means that through mediumship you can cause those effects and bring physical effects, where apparitions, where healing, or where trances or writings. From a spirit's perspective, and Allan Kardec, which codified Spiritism, did a scientific study of all the phenomena, and mainly the phenomena on around 1850s that were happening and were in evidence in France and whole Europe and USA as well. It was the time of the flying tables. It was an amazing time. It was a time for humanity to wake up to and the spirits were trying to do is wake up. There is another world on the other side. We're not just made of flesh. So, and he studied scientifically all these phenomena. And I'll bring some of the writings that he brought into the books of the codification of Spiritism, and most of those that I'm going to read are from the Genesis book that Kardec wrote, which are the messages come from the spirits through mediums. So from that perspective of the phenomena, he writes that mediunic phenomena, and we conclude that healing is that depending on the person and the medium at the same time, and that the very fact that a phenomena can be reproduced under identical conditions is sufficient to prove that it's possible and that's subject to a particular law. Thus, from that point on, it's no longer a miracle. So, from that, the reason he wrote this is that he was able to, through the work with the mediums, we are able to reproduce the mediunic happenings, the seances and the trances, and some of those healings as well. In a way, even though you need the person and a medium to be in a specific point, one as a receptor, one as a donator, from that healing perspective, he was able to show that miracles really, from a literal point of view, they do not exist. Logically, we consider miracles as extraordinary and marvelous point of view. Yes, we use that word in that sense. But from a miracle perspective, or we don't understand, or it's something that we cannot really comprehend, that's not what the Spiritism is about. Spiritism doesn't consider that point of view, because everything about Spiritism is logical and explains the basis for those so-called miracles, which is all beyond the material understanding. Is more looking at from the spiritual and peri-spiritual point of view. So, but one key fact to understand about, so we can understand what's behind these phenomena, is that the complexity about the soul and the perispirit, sorry, apologies, the perispirit. The word perispirit is actually, has many names, similar names like astral body, or from the Gnostic religion, Satan receives a garment and a wreath, that's another name given for the perispirit, astral body, is the understanding and the study and the message from the spirits tell us that the perispirit, how it is, what it is, and as well as how is that influences this phenomena. So for the perispirit, basically, it's like a fluid, a vapor that it's like the skin of the spirit, and wherever the spirit goes, spirit, what it means, you, me, or someone that's disembodied, that's disincarnated, we all have our perispirit, our skin that surrounds, envelopes the spirit. Even we are incarnated here, we have his perispirit, and he's got his purpose to connect us, the spirit, with the body. When we leave the body, we carry on with her, with the spirit. So, but the thing about the perispirit in relation to the healing and the mediunic manifestation is that it emanates these fluids which are extracted and exchanged between you, me, and everyone else. And that explains all the phenomena that has happened with the mediumship. Even when you, just normal situations on your day-by-day life, when you are around someone and you feel their energy, in an overall view is that emanation of the perispirit. Some of them call aura, which is different layers that we call. It's just it's a manifestation of the energy of, if you want to call energy or fluid, it's just names to try to explain something that the only words we have. And you can feel that the sentiment, you can feel the vibrations, the energy of someone, and that's exchanged. So in case of Jesus, we talk about Jesus specifically, Kardec wrote. And to really, he went really scientifically to understand, explain why they were not just miracles, but all logical and had fundamentals and had laws around it, laws that are based not just material laws that we know, physics laws, but the world, the spiritual world laws, and the nature of laws as well, which are all described in the spiritual book, in Spiritist book. And he wrote, as we have seen, the principle of psychic phenomena rests upon the properties of the perispiritual fluid, this energy that we're talking about. In case of Jesus, we recognize him as one of the highest order, and that due to his virtues, he is placed far above earthly humanity. Because of the immense results that it produced, his incarnation in this world, when he came to us, could only have been one of those missions that entrusts to direct messengers of God. Considering his evolved soul, his soul must not have been connected to his body except by strictly indispensable ties. So he's talking about because he's how evolved. He was incarnated in a body, absolutely, when he was between us, among us. But he was so evolved, that it was so hard for a body to hold that spirit in that body. It's so immense he was. Well, he says it was tied together with his body, but it's maybe some just not indispensable, just small indispensable ties when compared with us. And since he was constantly detached, it must have given him a second sight. And comes talk about what the medianic powers that Jesus had was that insights about everyone. He could see you and me. He could see anyone around him. He would know what you're thinking, what your issues, what your desperations, what are your needs. He would sense, he would have all these sights. Everything was around everybody. So his energy was so vast around everyone that he would be immersed on his aura. So he was continuous but exceptionally penetrating and far superior to anything seen among ordinary human beings. Such must have also been the case regarding all the phenomena that depending on the pure spiritual or psychic fluids. So it was the fluids that he was able to emanate. The quality of these fluids endowed him with an immense magnetic power, seconded by his incessant desire to do good. So there was a desire and his capability. So that starts making understand that Jesus was someone different from you and me, from a normal mortal, from an evolution perspective. That's what I mean. We're all spirits, but from an evolution perspective, Jesus is far, far ahead. When I start looking at him, understanding, there's amazing books from our mediums that codified and moved spiritism ahead. Chico Xavier, amazing book, which talks a little bit about who is Jesus. And basically a summary is that he was the creator. He was there when the planet Earth was being created. We're talking about billions and trillions of planets existing out there. Planet Earth, he's the boss. So he's the one, he's the CEO of planet Earth, or he's the one that looks after planet Earth. So we are under him. So if he was there since the Earth's creation, and if you think that Earth's creation is 4 billion years old, that means and back there he was already a Christ, evolved enough to look after and engineer with preserving and obeying all the physics laws. It's not about miracles. It's about, governing all this engineering, about having life in Earth and develop engineering life in Earth. It's about spiritism. Spiritism is about logic. Is that he's so evolved, and back there he was Christ, so 4 billion years old already. So you can think about him as a power station. If you think about a lamp, right? So a lamp is like us. And maybe we can fit in a lamp, and that's the amount of energy that we may produce as a spirit. We're bright as a lamp. Jesus will be trillions of lamps all together, so powerful, that had to be brought into a single lamp so he could incarnate in this body. It was a very suffering, it can't be suffering, but a difficult process, because Jesus wouldn't suffer, because he would just be an arduous process for him to sacrifice himself to come here. So when people talk about sacrificing his life here to go back, that wasn't sacrifice. The sacrifice was really him coming into earth to help us to understand what was love, what was the right man, and what was to be trying to change the parameters of that time and bringing new concepts to light for humanity, right? So that was the most difficult portion for him, and took hundreds and hundreds of years, according to some of the books, that took him to reduce from this powerhouse of light into a single lamp. So we can think about from ability to heal, to have this phenomena, this light. So when you are proximate to this light, and sometimes he would expand this light and will be touching everyone around him. So there's reasons that would this energy would be exchanged and start healing people. But not from only a physical perspective, but from a spiritual as well. You feel that happiness inside you that would break all the things that causes the struggles for us, with our own thoughts sometimes, our own feeling, emotions that drag us down. Ability to give us a new chance to really take away all this heavy stuff that we put on our shoulders, and we do. When we start suffering for specific problems, our minds start to be fogged, and we create all this dense energy around us. It's about breaking that energy. So, and one of the teachings that this topic brings us. We are mediums from a perspective that mediumship is native for a human being. Not that we are a medium worker, or we can make miracles like Jesus, because we're so unevolved. We've seen some other evolved mediums that came and teach us so much. But from a native perspective, is that we are capable to do miracles. Miracles from the point of view is that marvelous things. So, and Jesus mentioned, gave many explanations about this when he said, when he was brought, there was a passage where the disciples brought someone, and because they couldn't heal that person, he says, and he said, how unfaithful you all are. If you had one little seed of hope, like the grain of a mustard, you would be able to tell this mountain move, it would move at your desire. So he was trying to say, if we had a little bit faith and the power of a mind, the power of ability to give everything what we have in power in potential from our inner, we could heal ourselves, we could heal others the same way as he could do it. Logically, we are in this journey to develop this, and absolutely, and he's saying we can be the co-creators of all these marvelous things, as Jesus has taught us. It's about developing our inner, it's about developing our capability, and he gave us all the tools to achieve these things. And well, there's a lot of more things, but some of the tools are, we have ability to look at empathy across. So it was about, he gave one rule, and it's written in the Gospel according to Spiritism, is there, without charity there is no salvation. So it's about empathy, charity. These are the rules that we keep forgetting in everything we do. Charity, not about, the charity perspective, which heals our heart, is the charity about having empathy and close our eyes to defects of others. It's about being charitable person, that not being picky about the other's defects, because we are like this, right? Whether we like or not, we have our defects. And what we are healing also is that the most difficult things that make us unhappy, right? Why do we need to heal? The things that some need that physical aspect because I need that physical healing. But we do understand that the healing process starts within us. Whether the healing process where we need is, we need to heal the selfishness inside us. We need to heal the egocentric person that I am. Heal the hate or something that I regret, still regret inside me towards other people. And release that energy and then that can be a happier person. Even though I have things that I struggle physically, I can still live with it. So I think that's the teaching that Jesus gives about healing and being the doctor of a soul. And we see so many examples that he was able to heal, and he had this amazing capability. He had the power of healing, the power of insight, where he was able to see who was going to be betrayed him. He knew what the Pharisees were thinking about it. And we start looking at this. We have the capability, even when you get to a person, you know that person is looking at you and maybe is not designed too good. It's about opening our senses. So we only open our senses when we become more aware of ourselves. And there's amazing tools for meditation, become more aware, give more awareness. That means it helps us in our work to be more focused. The meditation can help us to be aware of who people around us, because sometimes you talk to someone and you start looking aside and your mind starts traveling. So it's about having awareness. So once we start to be aware of who we are and how we're feeling, we can go and change things to the better, logically. And he was able to heal, and so many examples that he was, we talk about healing of Jesus, he was able to heal from. One of the main topics was about the woman that had been afflicted with lots of blood for 12 years. He was in the middle of everyone, and she touched his clothing, and that energy flew from him to her. And Kardec explains and develops is that the reason that happened there was Jesus didn't even know he was giving that. It was because he was receiving. He works he writes here, there's a lot of text here I was going to read, but I'm not going to read this. He works like a suction pump, where the donator, the main part is the one is receiving it, is the one is desired, the one is ready. And she sucked that energy from him, and he asked the disciples, who has touched my garment? And suddenly she was healed. He was a powerhouse of energy, but we have our own powerhouse as well. Our powerhouse, our brains are capable. Maybe we only use 10% of our brain, but we can use more. We can use our emotions. We can use our positive thinking, and they can illuminate. They can become a powerhouse around everything around us. We cannot control. From a healing perspective, if we are unhappy, we cannot control what others do to us. We cannot control of what others do to us and make us unhappy. We cannot do anything that, if we lose someone, we don't have control of that. If we have faith, that faith gives so much power for us and believing that they are still alive from a spiritual perspective. I know we miss, I know we miss them, we cry, and that is okay. But the pillar is the faith, and the pillar is that we are in the right trajectory. We are in the right direction for understanding and working and doing our mission, and because the end result is the continuous happiness that we are living and this amazing life that we have here, even though we have highs and lows. It's 42. For closing this talk, I wanted to leave just a final thought from our talk is that remember that Jesus left some rules about how can we guideline our power, right? So power to heal ourselves, power to heal others. It was about, again, without charity there is no salvation. But he gave another guideline. He gave us that treat others like you wanted to treat us. So if we can set this rule with us, treat others like you'd like others to treat you, we can always use as a direction to work towards, and we're always going to be happy because we're doing our part, right? So again, if others do to you, that's not your problem, but it is your problem what you do. That's our responsibility what we do, and then our guiltiness come in and make us unhappy. So let's be avoided to be guilty about things by trying to do the right things. So I'll leave you that. So thank you for those that have joined the online. Hopefully this talk can reach to others where it's possible. And for those spirits that are around us as well are listening to this. And I thank you, our mentors, because they are the ones hopefully providing the words, because probably we'll forget those, and they are the ones inspiring us. We read a lot of things and they become so much a theory on our life because we don't much put in practice. But hopefully, we thank them for the insights in giving these teachings for me, for ourselves. Thank you, and hopefully have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful weekend, even though it's raining a lot. It's good for the plants and for the garden and for the water, for dams, collecting water. So thank you guys. Leave you. Cheers. Bye.